flies on a cold and gray Chicago.
I'm going to do it again.
I know.
This is the In the Ghetto version for Victoria Lynn, our poet. A little tribute song. Good luck wishes to your health.
Thank you.
In your whatever.
I was comparing myself to a ghetto the other day.
A blood flow
listeners,
ghetto or something? Or a digestion ghetto?
A yeast ghetto.
A yeast ghetto.
I said I have a yeast ghetto. I'm trying to build better housing, more sustainable.
Elvis Presley, this is the first song I remember as a child making me emotionally. Well, no, it might have been One Tin Soldier, but this one for sure, somewhere around
That's
that.
That's a tearjerker.
Very, very emotive, sad song about a boy who grows up in a ghetto, sung by Elvis Presley.
So, did you listen to all kinds of music growing up?
No, we listened to country music.
Okay,
and then
you were all
KDWB Top 40.
Okay,
but that's for you, Victoria Lynn. Hey, Doug Pagitt Radio. Here we go. All right, August 1st, 2013, first day of August.
Hallelujah.
Of Minnesota, which is a big deal around here. We just had a little technical difficulty and now had to start the show all over again.
No, so we feel like we're
so here we go again.
Deja vu.
All over again.
Ugh. So we can get married. Gay people can get married in Minnesota now. Today.
To other gay people.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, they always could get married
to same gender people.
Same gender people.
Yep. It's a big deal. I've been an advocate of this. Victoria, you've been an advocate of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think our side sometimes overreaches by saying now love can't be restrained. Mm-hmm. There's still lots of people who can't get married who might love somebody.
Yeah.
You can only marry one person at a time. If you have a certain immigration status, if you are related, there's a whole set of things. If you have emotional or cognitive ability, you have to have somebody sign off on it. There's a whole bunch of people that still can't get married.
Yeah.
We haven't solved it.
My son used to want to marry me. I mean, this happens with kids all the time.
Yes.
You know, and he'd just be devastated. Like I try. My husband would always try to explain to him, "You can't marry her." I already married her.
Trying to explain to a 5-year-old marriage law.
Yeah,
how's that going over?
I was trying to explain to my husband that this is
45-year-old marriage law.
I know.
It's because he just heard that marriage was the greatest.
He wanted to live with us
love.
Forever, get married to me, and
So congratulations to all the couples that are able to get married now, and we're not done yet.
Nope.
If it's a civil rights, which I think it is, for people to be able to express their marriages to one another, then we should be having lots of conversations about who it is that can be married. I don't want to be married to more than one person at a time.
Well, you made a
I
good
don't want to
pick.
marry an immigrant. I don't want to marry a person without full mental capacities, and I don't want to marry my cousin. I have no skin in this game.
It's just all those out there.
But there are people who do. Yeah.
And so
I don't know what we do about that.
Yeah. I was thinking today about my friends who are, that I know that are in same-sex coupleships. I don't know how you say that. And what great, of the friends that I have, what great couples they are. As, like, well.
Boy, that's really true.
And I was wondering if there's, I don't know.
It was just a quality test.
No, what I was thinking was maybe because it's so hard to forge a partnership that perhaps maybe those couples had to work so much harder to become couples that either that is part of what makes those relationships great, or because they had to work so hard to come to terms with their own sexuality that then that contributed to a kind of maturity that led to a good choice. I was just contemplating.
Yeah,
this.
Like if the adversity, if the cultural social adversity caused them to have more consequence, more investment. Huh.
Our social worker used to say this about all the families she worked with about adoption, because you and I both have adopted children, and how we worked really hard. Like, you don't just get to adopt kids. They don't. There's a
it's
really
not like making one like the ones we made. You don't have to do anything.
It's not quite.
Climb in the back seat, and 9 months later you get one. That's about it. Isn't it funny? I mean, the difference between like you get to be a parent through natural causes, easy speasy.
Yeah.
And
of course, that's not the case for everyone. Some people really struggle with their fertility, and we don't mean to make light at all. We would never want that. But at the same time, like when you adopt, you have to go through a lot of. You are under a microscope, and you have to admit to things and tell things you never.
I'm thinking of Keanu Reeves right now. He's in some movie, Chasing Arizona or something, where he has that moment in the kitchen where he's talking to him. He's like, you have to have a license to get a dog. You have to have a license to catch a fish. But they let any dumbass raise a kid, make a kid or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so I wonder about that, but it's a good day for.
Good for them. Congratulations. Good for all. Not good for them. What am I talking?
It's good for
us.
our whole community.
Good for us.
It's good for our whole community.
Bad idea that those people shouldn't be that people of same gender attraction shouldn't be able to have a marriage. Mm-hmm. It's nonsense. Yeah, it's nonsense to me. So I'm glad that that's taken care of.
Yep.
And cheers to that. August 1st, which means for a lot of people listening around the country that we don't feel this so much in Minnesota. They feel the haunting. The haunting shadow of the first day of school. Today, August 1st. A lot of people will start August 10th,
awesome.
August 15th.
You mean if I move somewhere, my kids could be going to school today?
Yes, you move to Texas. Your kids are going to school in
I don't want to see
8 days. Yeah, like next Tuesday, I think they go to school or something. It's really crazy. Right. I mean, how soon people go to school. Because in Minnesota, I grew up in the Minnesota that I knew as a child.
Yes.
School
didn't start till after Labor Day.
After Labor Day. I mean, it was a thing. It's like you didn't open your Christmas gifts before the one you got on Christmas Eve, and then you didn't open any of them. Yeah. You didn't open them on the 21st. You didn't open them on the solstice. You opened them. Is it the solstice or is it the?
I don't know.
The winter, the summer solstice, and the winter.
All those slushy.
You didn't get to do it then, but now people. I mean, the city of Minneapolis sending these kids off to school before Labor Day.
Yeah,
I don't even want to get into it.
It's fantastic.
Well, it is the great day for parents. The day that big yellow bus pulls up,
hallelujah,
and your kids leave. It's it's Parent Emancipation Day. There's no doubt about it. Freed at last from the burdens of the summer.
Yeah,
there's nothing to do. But all the work. I stopped by a Target store the other day. The big red and white. And now that our children, our youngest is 19, so this is going to be the second or third year he hasn't been in school, and we haven't bought school supplies in 4 or 5 years.
Isn't that liberty?
I had totally forgotten about that angst that builds about getting your kids ready for school. And I'd forgotten about my own memory of angst of what are you going to wear on the first day of school.
Yes.
I was somebody who picked that outfit days, weeks, maybe a month ahead of time.
You had to think
when
hard.
The haircut, when the shoes, when are you going to buy those shoes? All that stuff.
You don't want things to look
work.
too new. You got to have them a little warm.
Yes, and for me as a boy, especially in the younger ages, it felt like I changed a lot every summer.
Yeah.
So physically and sort of all that. So I felt so different, and I would feel like I would go to school and I was in this other body. Like there was a strangeness to myself now in a school. So all that kind of anxiety. So I just, that's that looming shadow is hanging over some people who might be, thinking about that on this very day, August 1st. And it should be the throes of summer, but in Minnesota we have had one of these
strange weathers,
really easy summers. It's been better than I thought. I predicted, I think here on the show, that we were going to have one of those summers that didn't happen, where people were going to be complaining. Yeah,
but we have had a little bit of a summer here and there.
It's been lovely, I thought.
Yeah, all 2 weeks.
It's also August 1st. Today, just this morning, I signed up for another 50-mile race in November.
Facebook. It's pretty exciting.
Oh, it feels so good to have to have something to be training for. I've been in limbo for months.
I was surprised at how long you held off.
Yes, and I realized I was training for a triathlon.
Yeah, did you dump that? You're not going to do it?
Quit that
You just couldn't handle all that biking and swimming?
Every time I would bike, especially the biking, every time I would bike, I would think, I could be running right now.
Yeah.
What am I doing? Why am I spending an hour and a half doing this?
Just
and I have this very bad habit, which hopefully my wife isn't listening. That I think if I own the gear for something,
then
I'll do it. Like,
so do you have a lot of biking gear
like,
stashed somewhere?
Hey, you should journal. I'd be like, yeah, I should totally journal. So I'd go buy a really nice journal.
What idiot ever told you to journal? That's the worst advice ever.
Introspective, reflective people that think journaling is good for everybody.
You are exempt from journaling.
Thank you. I know that now as a 47-year-old, but in my 20s and 30s, I bought a lot of journals. The worst. I've got them laying around here, probably leather-covered ones, things with dealios on the front. But I'm like that. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to get into something, then I want to, like, be in on it. I don't want to, no half measures, Walter.
Yeah, you want to look.
Breaking Bad. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to half-knuckle this thing. I'm going in. I'm going to rap on that door. And so now I have biking shoes that I'm like clip-ins.
Do you have to sell them? Can you sell them?
No, I'll probably, no.
You
See,
won't
I won't do that either.
I know.
Like if I buy something and it doesn't fit, sometimes I don't even return it. It's terrible.
You know what you can do? Now, this might be leading into our conversation that's upcoming. With
Give it away to somebody?
Well, or give it to somebody who would want to sell it and who could use the money. We have people in our community, I can tell you afterwards, who would want to do that. People who could use the help and...
They don't actually want it. They want to sell it.
They want to sell it, but they need the extra income. And so
I brought that up the other day at church because there were a bunch of books that ended up there. I get books, and some of the people there have books sent to them graciously.
Oh, yeah, you did.
And I say they're out on the table. I said they're free. And I said you can take them or just take them one at a time and go over to Barnes and Noble and return them for store credit.
But you also
that
said
is the worst.
I think that would be wrong.
I wouldn't do that. I
don't have the value system.
I am a moral person with ethics.
But
I would not do it.
The same
but
as
the rest
that.
of you should go out.
These things were bought and paid for.
And they could sell them on eBay.
And you could sell those books, like if you wanted to sell them on Craigslist or something. I don't think that would be wrong. It'd be wrong to bring them back to the bookstore, but if you want to sell something on Craigslist, I don't know. I don't do that either.
Maybe.
My husband is the returner in the family.
Oh, boy. My neighbor across the street, he'll return things 4 or 5 years later. Yeah. He'll keep receipts for 3 or 4 years and return things. Like, that is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
But it's a bad habit. I have I ran across a couple of things in my drawer here today that I was like, I should totally return that, and I didn't.
I know.
Isn't that weird?
I accidentally threw a pair of shoes that I was supposed to return, and my husband comes in from the garbage. He's like, "Did you mean to throw these away because you didn't want to deal with them? They're like brand new shoes that
they're like in a bag, and you threw them in the garbage instead of putting them in the car to take back to TJ Maxx."
I brought them out.
That is hilarious. Yeah. All right, hey, we're going to talk with Mark Scandrette. It's not going to be just silly business here. Mark Scandrette, a friend of the show, a personal dearest friend of mine, has written a book called Free: Spending Your Time and Money on What Matters Most. Just looking on the back for the retail price of the book. It doesn't list it. Get it?
Wondering what it's worth.
Get it? Well, it's
or what? Yeah, free.
Thank you very much. Free. Spending your money and time on what matters most.
I was a bit slow.
Start with buying this book. I'm going to tease him about that. I hope he's not listening.
Yeah.
It's like those guys that sell the books where they want to teach you how to have a job for 4 hours a week. That guy. He's like, what you have to do is you have to come up with a really great idea that you can sell to people that sells itself that you don't have to work on. Like selling people a plan for how to make money at 4 hours a week. So anyway, we're going to talk to Mark Scandrette, a book put out by the good folks over at InterVarsity Press, the Likewise series. Mark Scandrette and Lisa Scandrette, and a foreword by Richard Rohr.
Also friend of Doug Pagitt Radio.
Yeah, yes, all of those people, friendly around here. And so
they're going to be at the Wild Goose Festival.
They are. I think all of them. I'm going to ask. I don't know. Maybe you know this. Is co-author Lisa Scandrette going to be at the...
I believe so.
And those of you that are going to be at the festival, Victoria very well may be there.
Yep. That's the plan right now.
Doug Pagitt Radio will be there. Heather Lynn, musician extraordinaire, will be with us on the show and also at the festival, and then hang out. And those of you who are going to be there and haven't heard the word yet, bring your running shoes. We're going to do runs each morning. It's going to be
8 a.m.
8 a.m. running group.
Yep.
Out of the Wild Goose
Festival. Should do a walking group at 8 a.m.
Well, yes, and if you're there, meet at 8 a.m. and some people will be walking or running.
For people who would like to run,
no
but
one's
can't
going to be.
or don't
No
want
one's
to
going to have a
run, or-
camera on your feet, making sure that both feet are off the ground at one point. No one's testing your.
Or those speed walkers, they actually verify that one foot always has to be. I mean, it's really serious and technical.
Yes.
Speed walking, yeah.
And they're fast.
They are fast.
Can't keep up with them.
I was running once and a
cannot
speed walker walked by me. Yeah, not even a speed walker, just a regular walker.
Yeah, just a guy.
No, it was
guy
a woman.
walking along.
A woman walks by me.
All right, so hang in there with us. If you're listening live, you just roll over to the next version. If you're listening on the podcast, I bet it will do it for you. So Pagitt Radio, hang on with us. We'll be back here with little Mark Scandrett after the break.